Welcome to Happy Tales. I'm Cheryl Rosenthal, Communications Coordinator at the Oshkosh Area Humane Society.
And I'm Joni Geiger, Executive Director of the Oshkosh Area Humane Society.
And today our show is going to be about household hazards, things that you and I, Joni, take for granted. We see them every day, we use them every day, but they can pose a real danger to our cats and dogs, especially if they're left unattended. And we're also going to touch briefly on some of the holiday things that we haul out. Halloween, Christmas,
Sure.
Easter, even 4th of July, some of those hazards that that can be a danger to our animals.
Sure. And, you know, we don't think about some of these things. We take some of this stuff for granted, and the truth of the matter is that you have to really give some thought to some of the ththings that you have around the house and how dangerous they could possibly be to your pet. So we'll just kind of start with that.
Okay,
and
want to just kind of go down the line and see what happens. So first of all, Christmas. Everybody loves Christmas, including our animals. They get lots of presents and things. But things that are dangerous to them are Christmas trees, even the artificial ones. This is a little fiber optic tree, which my cats love to chew on, which can be hazardous to them. They get that fine little filament, and it can get stuck in their stomach and in their intestines. The other thing is ornaments. Ornaments such as this, these are glass. If cats or dogs knock them off the tree, they can break. Sometimes they like to get the tinsel out of the ornament or tinsel on the tree, or even fancy garlands. They like to chew on them. They can get tangled in them. This is a great way to pull your tree down. People really should think about securing their tree to the ceiling or to the wall so that it can't be tipped over. A way to keep your pet from chewing on some of these things, Joni, it's as simple as taking maybe some dish soap and you put it in a dish. Put some on your fingers, just like this, and it's not going to hurt your tree or your things. You're just going to put a little bit on the ends, and what's going to happen is when your pet comes up to the tree, they're going to smell this, and if they do put their mouth on it, they're going to go, ew, ucky. The other thing that you can do is on electrical cords. Animals like to chew on electrical cords, and you can do the same thing with this electrical cord. Just put some nice dish soap on there, and again, it will, even though when it dries, it will retain that smell.
Sticky kind of smell.
And when they get it in their mouth, they're not going to like it. So those are things that people want to watch for. The other thing is now this little tree, of course, doesn't have a tree stand. Water. Do you have a real tree at your house, Joni?
I do.
And what, do you put an additive in the water for your Christmas tree?
I don't.
Okay. Okay.
Well, it just dies naturally.
Okay. So. Well, that's very honest. But even though you don't put an additive in there, you must do something to keep your animals from drinking that water?
Yeah, actually I do, and I do wrap something around very, very tightly as far as just keeping them from that area so that they can't get into that. And I will tell you, Cheryl, having cats, they're extraordinarily curious about that tree. And I have a real tree, and they like to go up that tree, and they like to climb that tree. And of course, I was watching you when you were talking about the ornaments, and anytime you got ornaments hanging down, and of course they'll bob them and play with them and have a great time with them.
And ornaments like you just picked up, those are a great substitute. Those are shatter resistant. They're a plastic ornament, but they're nice and shiny, just like any other ornament. And what I do at my house, instead of using ribbon, I use real ribbon, the satin ribbon. It's less enticing. Or you can get little metal ornaments like this cute little kitty here. You have to be real careful about ornaments like this that have the eyes and the different pieces. Dogs and cats both would love to play with this ornament and tear off the ribbon, tear off the eyes. These are all things that they can swallow and ingest, and it can cause your animal to vomit, can get caught in their intestines.
Right.
So they're really hazardous. So think about these things when you're putting up your holiday decorations. The other thing is if you're home and you're able to watch your pet, that's one thing. But if you can crate your dog or put your cats in a safe room while you're gone during the holiday season, don't give them access to the Christmas tree. That might be a good thing to do. That might prevent some of those things. Right. I know that we've kind of at our house, because with our cats and our dogs, our trees kind of look kind of funny. We don't put tinsel from on our tree anymore.
Right.
But some people will put tinsel part of the way. That's another thing that's very hazardous. If your pet has swallowed string or some of the other things that we're going to talk about, call your veterinarian immediately. Do not try to pull the string out. Don't cut it. Don't do anything. What happens if you pull that string, whatever it is, yarn, thread, dental floss, can actually cut the esophagus and or the intestines. So this is, we may think, oh, that's so cute when they play with the ribbons and the bows, but it really can be dangerous.
I think it's really important, again, to remember that, especially if you're bringing a young cat home, or maybe this is your first Christmas with a cat or a dog, curiosity literally does kill the cat, so to speak. And we really have to think about, and again, if you've had pets for years and you know what you're dealing with, you still want to use some caution, but with a new pet, you especially want to be aware.
Right. And evergreen needles can get caught in dogs' mouths and also in their stomachs. Sometimes they're just, very interested in the taste or the smell. Again, this is if it's a live tree, it's something that's been outside. And again, curiosity, just want to chew on it, want to know what it is, and that water. So the dish soap and some things that you can use to distract.
Well, and I think from lights, too, we want to talk about electrical. Obviously, that can be an issue.
Electrical cords, like I said, we can use the dish soap on them. And maybe people, every day we have electrical cords all over our home. You rearrange the furniture and you maybe get a new lamp. Or your computer cords. I've gotten several calls. Oh, we got a kitty and they're chewing my electrical cords to my computer. And one of the things that people can do is they can, again, there are cord protectors that they can put some of those cords in, or use the dish soap, and you can also use something called bitter apple if you have something that you don't want your pets to touch. This just has a really yucky taste. It's not going to be harmful to your pet, but it is something that's going to deter them from chewing on things that you don't want them to chew on. And here we have some ribbon. Ribbon isn't just at Christmas time. A lot of times people will be wrapping packages for anniversaries, weddings, birthdays, and we forget about having ribbon. And curl ribbon seems to be a real fascination to cats. And here again, it's one of those things that they start to chew on, and they get it in their mouth, and they just keep swallowing and swallowing. So oftentimes it's much better to use the fabric ribbon or satin ribbons. It's less enticing to them. I don't know if it has something to do with the dyes that are in the ribbon that they're attracted to or what, but I have found if I use the fabric ribbon, they're less likely, but you still want to be cautious. Other threads that are hazardous, I used to use thread or rubber bands we got some rubber bands over here, Joni, if you want to pick some of those up. I would take rubber bands and use them on my electrical cords. Well, guess what? I found out that having the rubber bands on my electrical cords bound up, not only were they attracted to the electrical cords, they also liked the rubber bands.
Right.
And rubber bands can be very hazardous. So be aware of where you're placing electrical cords. Sometimes if you have electrical cords extended, your dog is walking around, they can trip over it, or they get their tail attached to it, and over goes the lamp, and then we have a broken light bulb and other things. And
just happened to me not too long ago.
They walk on those cords. So you want to be careful of those electrical cords and find ways that you can keep them out of your pet's sight. Dental floss, something so innocent. Maybe you use it in the bathroom, you floss your teeth, and you drop it into the waste paper basket. Some kitties really like to play in the waste paper basket. Dogs sometimes are garbage hunters in the waste paper basket. This is an awful thing for them to get a hold of, because this is one of those things easy enough to get caught in their throat, get caught in their teeth, wrapped around their intestines. You know, Joni, dental floss is strong enough to cut cheese with.
Right.
So imagine if your dog or cat ingests this. And prevention. It's all about prevention. You know, we don't want to be the doomsday people here today, but it's just simple everyday things that we want to be careful about.